Pull up those knickers, gals. It's snippet time. Hello, gals, and welcome aboard the Snippet Train. You have now officially entered Snippet Land. Please be seated. Make yourself comfortable. Take a seat. Settle down. You in the back. Settle down, please. There'll be no whispering amongst you. Quiet. I am now here delivering your snippet, and I need your attention. Yes, this is Sober Living Snippets, where we live alcohol-free so we can heal our relationships, feel youthful again, and ditch regret and shame. Those three things: relationships, health, and emotional maturity. Those are the three categories that we cover, right? Well, today we are going to talk about the big what if, the worry wart. Call it what you will. This is basically what we're talking about. And we're talking about it through the lens of Chapter 6 in Susan Jeffers' classic book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. This chapter is called No Lose Decision. And the chapter is about being unable to make a decision and feel good about it and constantly worrying that we made the wrong decision. The key quote I want to give you from this chapter comes about 4 or 5 pages in. Here's the quote. Susan Jeffers says, "All you have to do to change your world is change the way you think about it." Bam, right? That is, in a nutshell, the snippets. Everything I do here, the alcohol-free mindset, right? The mindset. Over and over, that's what I say. Everything that happens to us just depends on how we look at it. That's all we got to do is change our mind and we change our lives. That's why I teach classes on it. That's why I practice it. And that's why I want that for you. It isn't about anything that's going on out there. It's all how you look at it. Powerful. I mean, all the power is put back on us. And sometimes that can be pretty scary. What? You mean I can't blame the weather? I can't blame my past? I can't blame my parents? I can't blame my partner? I can't blame the economy? No. It's all on us because all we have to do is change the way we think about it, as Susan Jeffers puts it. What does this have to do with being able to make a decision? Well, I think it's probably pretty obvious. If you're having a hard time deciding on something in your life and you're feeling fearful, because everything in this book, of course, refers back to fear, feel the fear and do it anyway. Jeffers contends that many of us spend our lives worrying that we've made a wrong decision, what it would have been like if we made the other decision. I call this emotional immaturity. And we here in Snippet Land are doing our best, working really hard to live in emotional maturity, or if you prefer, emotional sobriety. So this what if syndrome, this I hope I did the right thing, did I make the right decision, is really something that you would find from someone who hasn't reached a level of emotional maturity that will help them to stabilize. And that only happens, gals, if we're still drinking. If you've given up alcohol and you've undertaken a pathway to sober living that includes emotional healing, mindset work, then this type of what if thing, it just fades away into the distance. So if you're suffering from this still, it simply means, my dear, that you need to do some work. That's all it means. But if you would like to get started today, as Susan Jeffers points out, all you have to do is change the way you think about it. And so, of course, what does she say about this decision? The change that she wants us to undertake about decisions is simple. She says, basically what I say all the time, whatever happens to us comes to us for a reason and is an opportunity for growth. So if we feel like we've taken the wrong path, then we need to stop and look around and say to ourselves, okay, what is here in front of me right now that I can learn from? So there is no wrong decision. And the longer we are without alcohol and the more we learn and the more we grow in mindset, the more we grow in emotional maturity, the more we release our baggage from the past, the more we're able to trust in that. This is a deep inner trust, a trust in ourselves, a trust in the universe or God or whomever is leading and guiding us, that we've put our faith in that what I'm doing here is for my own best interest. The way I always put it is that life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us. And this is the same with these decisions that Jeffers is referring to. Sit down, get quiet, allow your intuition to speak, make that decision, and then step forward in faith that this path I've chosen is the one that is built for me to grow. That's a beautiful way to live, and it's not an easy one to do if you're still drinking and you haven't started your journey yet. Here's a quote from Jeffers. Every time you encounter something that forces you to handle it, your self-esteem is raised considerably. You learn to trust that you will survive no matter what happens. And in this way, your fears are diminished immeasurably. So every challenge that comes along, you handle it, you get through it, you grow from it, and then you gain self-esteem, and then you gain more faith in yourself, more trust in yourself. And this is just all part of the sober living journey. And then in big, gigantic, bold letters in this book, Jeffers says this: the knowledge that you can handle anything that comes your way is the key to allowing yourself to take healthy, life-affirming risks. If we're still living in fear that the choices we're making are not the right ones, we have a long ways to go, don't we? We need to learn this faith. We need to learn how to trust. What Jeffers gives us in here is what she calls the no-lose model, which essentially is just saying that, look, if I'm connected to my inner self and I'm calm and peaceful when I make my decision, both paths have something to teach me, and I'm going to go forward with faith that I've chosen the path that has the most to teach me, the most joy for me on this journey. Jeffers gives us a list of things we can ask ourselves when we have a decision to make. These are so basic, gals, that I'm not going to go through them with you, but she does include at the end what to do after you've made a decision, and I do love this. She says, once you've made a decision, toss out your expectations. Forget about the other path. It's done. We decide, we choose, we move forward. And I often talk about this. It's just a decision. And once you've made that decision, move forward with faith that you are moving in the direction you're supposed to go. I tell you right now, if we're still drinking and we're struggling with alcohol, this type of emotional maturity is very difficult. So I want to say to you that this chapter and the next one, in fact, this whole book, is very difficult to master if you're still drinking. How can we use this to get to our alcohol-free life? My hope, dears, my hope here is that hearing this level of emotional maturity makes you want it. If you don't have this and you think to yourself, I can't imagine living by intuition or trusting that everything is happening for me. I don't say these things to make you feel bad, like, wow, I'm so far behind, I'm never going to catch up. I say these things and talk about these things here to make you go, damn it, I want some of that. I want some of that. If that's what it's like over in sober land, that's what I want. You're not so far behind you'll never catch up. All you have to do is take the plunge. Make the most important decision of your life right now, and that is to put down that bottle and pick up the help that's right in front of you. So in some ways, maybe, yeah, I am trying to make you feel bad, but not in a way that paralyzes you, in a way that brings up a little bit of healthy anger of like, damn it, I'm missing out on life. I want real freedom, not half-assed freedom. So that's all I'm going to say about this chapter on making decisions. We learn an intuitive path. If you're the type of person who has a hard time making decisions and feeling your intuitive power, which is what we learn in recovery, this is what I teach my gals. That's why we have a sacred space. That's why we go in there, because we're growing our intuition, our ability to sit quietly and trust the guidance that comes from within. But that's something that comes with time. And so if you don't have that yet, this really is a very helpful chapter until you get there. So I do recommend it. If you've had enough, suffered long enough, and you're tired of making the same mistakes over and over again, that's exactly why I created the Perspectives program, to help you overcome alcohol without struggle, without strain, without regret, without having to fall back over and over and over again. Today's the day. If you've had enough, I want you to scroll down to the show notes. Click the first link that says book your call with Becca. That'll take you to my private calendar, and together we can talk about how to get you started. And if you're thinking, how do I make this decision? That's typical, isn't it? That's what Jeffers is talking about in this chapter. This is not actually a decision. If you book a call with me, you're not making a decision, dear. You're just meeting with me, and together we'll talk about your options. You're not making any commitment, and I do not do pressure. I give information, support, and I'd love to hear your story. So hit the show notes today. Today's the day that you're going to make a decision that will change your life one way or another. Thanks for coming in, gals, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back tomorrow so we can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.